What's up, boys and girls? Welcome back to Jedi Jive. We got another Andor reaction coming at you, and joining us again is my sister Jenny.
Hey, kids.
We had a great time last week doing those first three episodes. We got a really solid 90-minute start to this show. Some people would say it was a little bit slow-paced, but I would say we got to remind ourselves that's kind of what we signed up for here. This is television, and one of the biggest advantages we have working for us here with this television is that you don't have this like hour and a half constraint where you have to tell a story really quickly and get to the exposition really quickly and get to everything in a timely manner. Like, we can have the advantage of sitting back and doing this at the pace that its own pace.
Especially in 12 episodes, 12 full-length episodes, which by like modern TV standards is a decent-sized season.
Yes.
A lot of things are cranking out 10 shorter episodes and calling it a whole series these days. And so this is actually like a luxurious amount of coverage time.
And as we were actually just kind of like shocked to see, like I opened this up and it's 50 minutes for the fourth episode.
Which means that even with credits, it's close to 45 minutes.
That's the longest episode of the four so far. So it's, wow, they're really, like, the material is here. The time is here. We get to actually, like, spend time in the Star Wars galaxy like I say I want. So
if this were
like, is what I asked for.
A classical 5-act play, the first 3 episodes would have been like Act 1.
Sure, yeah.
You know, and now we're about to get to
we could have arguably made those first 3 episodes like 2, condensed them into 2.
But like narratively, it's Act 1. We just got to the first sort of peak, the first climax with him taking off and escaping with Skarsgård.
Yes.
So whose name I think we still don't know yet.
Luthen, I think it was. Luthen.
I don't know what his name is.
You know, we might actually benefit from turning on the subtitles. I know you and I don't usually like to watch the subtitles. They're distracting. But there is often a good amount of like character names, things that people are like, how
are you
guys not seeing it? It's like, sorry, we're not watching subtitles. So maybe we would be advantageous for us to turn them on. We'll consider that. But anyway, there's a lot of different characters that have been introduced. The one main corporate guy is an interesting character. He's a heel. He seems like he's gonna be a bad guy, but they gave him a lot of screen time. They're really trying to make us not necessarily sympathize with him, but like give him character, they've
given him motivation is what they've done. I mean, I think we're gonna continue to see him as an adversary of Cassian in some form. Whether or not he appears in every episode, I don't know, but I think he's likely to come back sometime in the series, because what started as sort of a nitpicky corporate pet peeve has now escalated into this like huge personal embarrassment that he's been through, and he's got like a lot of different reasons to want to get this guy.
And he may seem kind of bumbling and stupid right now, but that could easily turn into a much worse, like, because now he's been kind of embarrassed and humiliated, so that could get bad. We'll see. Excited to jump into this episode and see what happens, guys. Let's do it.
Calculating for Aldhani.
Are they coming? Do as I say.
Calculations complete.
Should have grabbed hold of something.
It did not even hesitate.
What's up?
Mad Nog. Just a sip.
Med-nog.
That's some moonshine, buddy.
It's like the edible version of Bacta, I guess.
Yeah.
To put a real stick in the eye of the Empire. And get paid for it.
I fought in Mimban when I was 16. 2 years of it. I'm one of 50 that survived.
Including Solo. That battle is in the movie Solo.
Yeah.
I'll ultimately die fighting these bastards. Wouldn't you rather give it all at once to something real than carve off useless pieces till there's nothing left? I didn't risk my ass for the Starbeth unit. I came for you. You survive and deliver. I'll give you 200,000.
Yo.
What would we be stealing?
The quarterly payroll for an entire Imperial site.
Oh my god.
Coruscant.
Nice. Oh my god, it's so good to be back here.
I know.
Oh, that looks great.
Look at this.
Hell yes. Okay, we've seen a lot of her in the trailers.
Yep.
Okay, wow, this is like Imperial FBI. We've never seen this before.
Is this item from Marvala 6?
Positive development, sir. The dimensions of the
Arvala 6, I believe, is the planet in Mandalorian beginning where he gets Grogu.
Oh, no kidding.
Might be Arvala 7, actually.
They're the same star system.
Yeah.
What do we do in this building? Why are we here? Anyone?
We're here to further security objectives by collecting intelligence, providing useful analysis, and conducting effective covert action.
The textbook answer.
That is verbatim from the ISP mission statement and wrong.
I've seen that scene like in 6 other movies.
It's like Legally Blonde with like
Starship
Selma
Troopers.
Blair.
The exact words of the text.
Whether they arise from within or have come from the outside.
She's going to get along with that corporate guy. They're going to see eye to eye on shit. The textbook.
Elaborate on these added protection requests for traffic to the Abrian sector.
There's an increase in construction shipments going to Scarif, sir.
Well, then they just named so many things that we've heard of before.
Yeah. It was a whole whirlwind.
Oh my goodness. These establishing shots are great.
Mm-hmm.
Think of a name for yourself.
Shaving. Mundane things you don't see in Star Wars.
Take this.
Is that a kyber crystal?
What is it?
It's a down payment. It celebrates the uprising against the Rakatan invaders.
Oh, sick. They just mentioned Rakata.
Less than 50,000 for it. Just know it will always be worth more to me.
50,000.
If I live.
That's amazing that, you know, I'll explain Rakata to you later.
Okay.
Basically, the Rakata are a different galaxy. It's an expanded universe story about other galaxy people invading.
That's amazing.
And people are going to freak out that they just mentioned that.
This is somebody new.
Oh, he wants to...
Something I can help you with?
He's got steady nerves and he's not afraid to kill.
I can't believe you're doing
You
this.
can pilot.
We go in 3 days.
He increases your chances of success dramatically.
We've been eating roots and sleeping on rocks for this rebellion, and now you've got a mercenary on board.
On the way, in the next 3 days, if for any reason... Look at me! You wanted to lead. This is what it comes to. Something feels off, something turns, someone starts to fold. You step up, you lead, you cancel the mission.
And if he's the problem?
Well, that's the advantage of renting him. He's disposable. Clem!
Where is this? Like Ireland, Scotland? Like, that was definitely a location somewhere.
Yeah.
Idiocy, ineptitude, and total disengagement for this farce to have reached the full apex of incredulous disaster. Seriously?
Deputy Inspector Khan.
Karn finally has a name.
Holly, you will not be replaced. Independence. As of this morning, the Milana system is under permanent imperial...
They let them run this system on their own terms as long as they kept everything balanced and
on the surface,
even.
that's a very clear development of the Empire. Like,
you cause a scene, the
more
Empire
presence.
steps in to take control.
Yeah.
Which is exactly why the inspector was telling him to sweep it under the rug to begin with.
You're taking on an Imperial armory?
Are you not joining us?
Us? How many of us are there?
Now we are 7.
7. Hey, hold on.
Get down, Tuckins!
TIE fighters.
One local and 4 Primor security employees. They've misspelt Ferrex.
Where's my Starpath unit?
They misspelled the clerical errors. Just
Starpath unit from the site. That is our box from Steerguard.
Has to be.
This is so cool. It's like
I want you to go to Blevins' office, tell them
Imperial
we need everything
investigators.
they've got on Ferrex.
It might mean more if you went.
guy looks like Jake Gyllenhaal from Nightcrawler.
Yeah, he really does.
Orbiting Coruscant.
Your controls.
Coruscant, let's go. Come on. I want to get down into the surface. Worth buildings.
Little disguise.
Nice. Okay, he's
Master of disguise over here. He's like a Shakespearean actor preparing for his role.
Yep. He's about to go serve up some excellent bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
There used to be hundreds of settlements up here. 40,000 Aldhanis all across the Highlands. They were here for centuries. But it only took the Empire a decade to clear
It's
them out.
another colonization story.
So who are we supposed to be?
There's still a few shepherds in the hills. Nature lovers. Mystics. Dead enders.
Nature lovers. Just I keep forgetting we're watching Star Wars. This is so cool.
I want the full Ferrex report.
It's my sector.
An Imperial Star Path unit was stolen from the Steergard Naval Yard and found at the scene. That gives me jurisdictional access. Are you denying my request?
For the second time today.
Fine. I'll take it to Major Partakas.
Don't look down.
Wow, man. Painting much?
Everyone's dead. You better think what you're gonna say, because she's coming down now.
Atypical weapon for Star Wars. Looks like has bullets in it. It's a magazine. Right? That didn't look like an energy weapon. That looked like an
cool sheep with the 4 horns.
We've always known we were short a man.
Can I speak with you?
Let's get Clem settled in.
Coruscant. Wow, cool, man. Just like a terminal.
Mm-hmm.
Disgrace.
What are you staring at?
So you don't know him?
I know that we need him. That's all I'll say. Anything else is a violation of security.
Vel!
I trust him. Okay?
Senator Mon Mothma's here.
Nice.
Anyone we
There
know?
she blows.
Senator, what a pleasure to see you.
You as well, Luthen. Sorry to be so late.
It's hard being surrounded with this much history and not be humbled by the insignificance of our daily anxiety.
He's a fake antiquities dealer.
So, a gift for your husband.
Yes, it's his day of days. It's a Chandrilan custom.
But with the oldest one, it's a Udapawan monk cudgel.
Udapau.
It's a treasure for the true aficionado.
Is there anything else that might interest
Well,
you?
your timing is excellent. I have something very special that just came in. Come with me.
So now they can talk in private.
Yeah.
Under the pretense of looking at birthday presents.
And a serpent from the overworld sharing the same mouth. If you can't deliver, I need to know.
Just
need to start planning if you're no longer coming through for us.
The money's there. It's just getting very dangerous to move it around.
Oh, so she's funding him and he's funding. Yeah, okay.
I found someone I think can help me.
Vulnerable enough. We need funding, not more people to worry about.
Don't lecture me on vulnerability. You think I haven't thought this through? I'd be the first one to fall.
Is that a Jedi carving?
Why don't you take this on loan?
May I?
That looked like a Jedi symbol.
Appreciate that. You'll be here?
Do you see that samurai armor looking thing in the background? How dope is that? It's like a homage to, just Darth Vader and samurais in general, all of it, yeah. The knight in armor aspect of a Mandalorian plus the armor of a stormtrooper, just blending all of that stuff.
Well,
An antiquity shop, but
always
Star
heavily
Wars
influenced by
Galaxy
samurai.
Antiquities. How cool is that?
Yeah.
There are so many cool little elements to this episode. She is a certified badass.
Yes, she is.
She's the mother of the rebellion.
We need another hand, and you know it.
I should have been consulted.
This is Lieutenant Gorn. He's our contact at the garrison.
Bonsai.
Yeah.
Star Wars bonsai.
Again, always been a heavy Japanese influence here.
Yeah.
Always, but...
Are you enjoying this?
No, just looking forward to seeing some old friends.
Oh, this is her husband, not her butler.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Just there.
She's that powerful.
Yeah.
You can't be serious. These people hate me. They spend every day trying to undo anything I've touched.
Well, perhaps tomorrow they'll think twice.
You shouldn't have invited them without making sure I was aware.
What, it's a bit late to cancel.
Don't seat them near me.
Oh, I've taken care of that. You're at the boring end of the table. These people are fun.
Oh, we should find some Gorman guests for tonight and see how amused they are. Your fun friends just cut off their shipping lanes yesterday. Do you know how many will starve?
Perhaps you should have a rest.
If you make me pay attention, I will, and you won't be happy.
There's rumor you bought me a present.
It's going back.
Oh my goodness, that's an interesting relationship. Man.
Yeah.
Garrison, observation tower, sentry defenses, all to protect this runway opening here.
I'll do it. It's fragile, that piece. The rain gets into the glue.
We're taking crates of payroll from that room, loading the freighter, and escaping out of the runway tunnel.
Those were TIE fighters we saw on the way in. They'll be on you in minutes.
9 minutes. We've timed it.
It's a suicide run.
Exactly.
The Aldhanis gather in this valley for a celestial event they call Makani Bredani.
So cool.
This is like Stonehenge.
Celestial events. Yeah, dude.
From the sacred land.
To see what?
Imagine 50 meteor showers all at once, but like a curtain being pulled across the sky.
Once every 3 years.
2000. It's a recurrent band of crystallized noctilucent microdensities, billions of crystals. As the planet passes through the belt, they swarm the atmosphere, heat up, and explode.
Wow, it's like Northern Lights.
Extremely relatable. It's he's got the scientific explanation from it, but this is
it makes perfect sense too.
But this is a sacred event since the beginning of time for the local people.
Yeah. Like an eclipse.
Yeah.
Or it's a meteor shower.
They're literally like gathering at Stonehenge
like
to
the
watch.
Perseids,
Yeah.
Are you in all the way?
Let's get to it.
Starpath unit that was recovered at the scene has been traced to a theft at an airbase under my jurisdiction, sir.
She's overreaching to increase the size of her portfolio.
Alert me when this materializes into something more definite. Until then, confine future activities to your sectors. Thank you, Lieutenant.
It was sort of exactly the conversation that the chief inspector had with
she's the mirror.
his deputy.
Yeah. But they're technically on the same side.
Yeah.
They're gonna be best friends, you know it.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's gonna do the same thing and go back on orders.
Uniquely superior.
But again, I also
career.
see like the repeat of the pattern we saw with Reva in Obi-Wan Kenobi.
That's an Aldhani phrase book.
You'll eat, you'll let Cinta check the bandage, and you'll have learned all that by morning.
This reminds me a bit of the scrappy crew from The Matrix, sort of getting Neo up to speed. He has to plug in and take all his lessons, right? And then they have that scene where they all eat together. Tastes like chicken.
You got it. Yep.
Same vibe.
Wow. Wow, man. Guys, I have to say, I don't know how you felt, but for me, I loved this episode. I loved every little detail. This was easily my favorite episode. I know I'm gushing a little hard already, but it comes down to me to all of the little details. There were so many, and it's not just about Easter eggs. It's not specifically that. There were things like he mentioned the Rakatan Empire. That is huge that we just heard that. I can't even explain to you the significance
You said
of
it's
that.
a whole other galaxy, right?
Well, it's not just the fact that it's a whole other galaxy. It's that that's an expanded universe. I don't know if you're aware what EU expanded universe
Meaning
is.
like the novels and the comics.
Yes,
and
originally
everything.
there were like a whole gazillion novels back in the early 90s, you know, and there was this large expanded universe that was like extra Star Wars material for people that were into Star Wars. And when Disney bought Lucasfilm, they kind of just did away with all of that.
Yeah.
They've been picking and choosing little details to like, they've brought some things here and there from the expanded universe.
But so
and
this is
kept
like
them.
a callback to that whole world.
But Rakatan Empire is like, wow, they just mentioned it. It's now canon. It's an official thing in the real Star Wars universe now. Like there's another galaxy, or like that's supposed to be millions of years ago that like the Jedi and the Rakatans had, or they came to, I think they may have even brought force usage to the galaxy. I'm not that much of an EU crazy person, but I know that there are going to be people freaking out that they mentioned that.
Yeah.
So that's just one little thing, but there were so many little, like we were mentioning, like the samurai thing and just the antiquities and so many, I can't even think about all the details. I'm going to have to go back, but
what's really interesting, and you mentioned this, for instance, the detail of him shaving, which isn't something that you would normally have the time to see.
Like
mundane things. Or she mentioned visiting the bank and how the staff is changing all the time because basically they're living under the equivalent of like Nazi rule, right? And so everybody's a spy.
The flight terminal on Coruscant.
Right, like things like taking the bus on a daily basis or visiting the bank or shaving or just seeing the inside of her home. You know, like what place settings she has. Little things like that in a film scenario, you would not have the time to do this. But this episode, like, relaxed into its storytelling and its world building.
Yeah.
Like that scene between Luthen and Cassian in the ship where they're having the whole conversation about whether or not Cassian is ready to join his cause. That scene went on forever. Even by television standards, that scene was like a million years long. Usually you try to do like 3 pages of script, right? For a scene, you bang them out in television. You try to like move from one scene to the next, keep the pace moving. These scenes are like long theatrical scenes. Like I mentioned at the beginning, the idea of a 5-act play, but this feels like that. This is like a level of world building that is like really
so
luxurious.
Many details, and like we returned to Coruscant. They had some great little Coruscant scenes. Like I said, clearly they were filming on location in that, like it looked like a Scottish glen or something.
Yeah,
like in
it's exactly
Highlands
what it looks like.
Somewhere in Ireland or something. That's what that looked like.
Or Scotland.
Yeah. And I kept having to remind myself, this is Star Wars. This is Star Wars. We're not actually like it was just so many little details that are like, it's not that I don't believe this is from the Star Wars universe, because I do. It's that this seems so different from what we're used to. We're seeing all these little details that aren't typically the focus of things. And something as mundane as shaving, it's just this little detail. But it's these are real people living in a real galaxy, doing real things. Like in The Mandalorian, that's like the first time they mentioned the vac tube or whatever they called it, the toilet. And you see it.
Right.
And it's like everybody poops, but they never mention it in Star Wars until then. And it's like, no, there are like actual real people are shaving.
They're ironically humanizing the story in a way by giving us things like shaving or table setting
and
or
even
whatever
just that
it is.
Little itty bitty detail
but humanizing it
difference.
at the same time as they're deepening like the fictional elements of this world. So it sort of works both ways at once. It makes the Star Wars world bigger for us by focusing on the tiny human details.
And it's the details to me are everywhere too, right down to the, like we were mentioning, it seems obvious that FBI lady, I'm not sure what they called her sector or her name even, but she's clearly going to team up with the corporate guy because they are both by the book, like she read, and I even predicted that the guy was going to be like perfect answer, but right out of the textbook and wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we've seen that exact scene before. I love these little details, right down to the ragtag team that we saw being put together, and I was like, that does not look like an energy weapon. The guy looked like he was holding an AK, and to me, that whole like these are guerrilla warfare people. Like the fact that they have these like this ragtag team would have like ragtag weapons, even. Little details like this are standing out to me, and I'm loving it. And the fact that you could have Coruscant and this Scottish Highland and Mon Mothma's apartment and this antiquities shop, fake antiquities shop. There were all of these like cool scenes and locations that had
environment,
tons of detail in them.
Yeah, like whole environment.
Just that antiquity shop. If you go, I'm going to go back and look around.
There are probably like a million Easter eggs in there.
The piece that he gave her, I swear to God, it looked like it had a Jedi carving on it. Like I'm sure that like the Easter egg people are going to be like, okay,
let's
maybe
go through that antiquity shop shot at a time.
Waiting through the first 3 episodes was worth it, because to me this was just a feast in so many different ways. I wasn't necessarily as fixated on the audio in this as I was in the previous 3 episodes, because there were so many other details for me to focus on. And it's also interesting to see that corporate guy had a loving mother that, like, at first she was like, oh, she slapped him like, don't do this to me or whatever, but then she gave him a hug, and it was like, it's fun. and awesome seeing even these bad guys have cool character moments where you're sympathizing with them.
Yeah.
Even this blonde lady, like, she's a bad guy for all intents and purposes, right? But we're like,
but
cool
she
character.
has a backstory. She has dimension to her. She's not just like a cog in a machine. There's some reason she is the way she is, or there's some reason that guy, the corporate dude, is the way he is. You
They
know?
have this with every character too, right down to Mon Mothma and her husband. Their little unique dynamic that they had together was super
He's
interesting
like the
to
house
watch.
husband.
The house husband,
basically, and they have this sort of. But then
she's a super powerful senator.
She's a super powerful senator, but she's the rare example of a politician who actually cares.
Yeah.
You know, when he invited some politically problematic people to dinner, and she was like, "What about the people they just oppressed?"
Yes, yeah,
you
that's
know?
so realistic. Yeah, that she'd be
so
the
great.
progressive, left leaning, these are my pet causes that I care about, and her husband needs to kind of she's so powerful, and he has to be comfortable with her being the leader.
Yeah.
And they clearly had a really interesting way of communicating with each other, where they were being sarcastic with each other. It just seemed very realistic.
Loved all the Japanese details in their house as well, from the bonsai trees to their robes to his little samurai top knot kind of deal that he had going on.
Yeah, when her
beautiful.
shuttle flew in.
Yeah.
My initial thought was wow, that looks expensive.
I had the same thought. I was like, this is like a Star Wars Lamborghini.
Yeah.
This is like a very fancy, shiny car that she came in.
Yeah, like a Lincoln Town car or whatever.
Yeah.
It would be I was actually referring to it. Looked like the shot was expensive. It had CGI in it. It was Coruscant. It was flying. I'm like, wow, the production. It's great. I'm loving it.
Again, this week, there were two things that I found really interesting, and they're the same two things that I found super interesting about the storytelling in the first episode. One was, yet again, front and center, an indigenous storyline about these people who used to be shepherds all over the hills of Aldhani, and they were removed. There was like a...
Well, she said that they got forced into the lowlands.
Yeah, there was like an Aldhani Trail of Tears, basically.
Yeah.
Where they got removed to this,
only
arid,
it's like Irish shepherds, not
non-arable land, so there's nothing down there, right? They got moved to this shitty land in the lowlands, and yet there's this beautiful, beautiful sort of story about the celestial event, and they all come to this thing of this stone thing. I was like, it's like they're coming to Stonehenge to watch an eclipse.
Yeah.
But then there's the scientific explanation for what is actually going on there. And
so this actually makes me like they mentioned the Rakatan Empire, like I said, which is supposed to be millions of years before.
Right.
And even here, when they say Star Wars, it's always in a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. So it's there's an antiquities shop with ancient antiquities. That he mentions an ancient empire. There's mention of a Stonehenge celestial event amongst so it's
a native people.
Awareness of the history of the galaxy and awareness of your position in the galaxy and the fact that there's a mention of a civilization from another galaxy. It's just further delineating everything in terms of the history of the galaxy. And it just feels so rich and
and then another side of that, which I also think is so cool and so interesting, is that there's this star system where the corporation operates that has basically been allowed to operate autonomously as long as they don't get in anybody's way. They let the corporation have control over the star system. They have their basically shareholder meetings or whatever the chief inspector was going to in the first episode, but they're allowed a semi-autonomous function until they cause a scene, and then the Empire steps in and is like, you're embarrassing us, which was so interesting to me, the idea of this semi-autonomous corporate regime that exists in this entire star system. That's new, and I just think that is such a cool dynamic to bring in.
Yeah. It was so cool seeing Stellan Skarsgård just drop the curtain on his character.
Yes!
Switch instantly into all right.
He had that great moment where he became the bon vivant, antiquities dealer.
Loved it, man.
Like an actor preparing for his role. It was great.
Yeah. And which is funny because it's
literally what he's doing.
Literally what he's doing, yeah. Which makes him an even better actor. Yeah, so cool. Guys, love this. Love to hear what you think about it. I'm really excited because now I'm I want the next episode. I kind of felt that way already, but the fact that this was a 50-minute episode, the longest one so far, gives me hope that this is just the material is just the richness of it is just gonna keep rolling and rolling and gathering and gathering and gathering, and we're gonna have a super rich delicious meal to bite on by the end of the season.
Yeah.
I can't wait, dude. This is going to be awesome. And I hope people are a little bit more satisfied with the Easter egg hunting and all that, because right off the top, I know there's so much more of it in this episode. I'm going to have to go back and watch two or three times. I know when I went back to watch the first 3 episodes again, there were definitely details that I missed.
I'm sure, and I usually get really excited about stuff like that, but I honestly don't even care that much in this context because I'm so wrapped up in the actual storytelling.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
I love it. And I'm looking forward to seeing how these characters and everything else develops. Guys, let us know what you thought about it in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you want to see this reaction fully unedited, go over to patreon.com/JediJive. That's where we put up our unedited reactions. Go check it out. We'll see you in the next reaction, guys.
Peace.